Good day, viewers. Welcome again to my channel, Second Matter, the solution to our math problems. Let's quickly solve this past question. It is on General Mathematics, November-December 2024. Objective question 4. I read, 3 men shared $480,000 in the ratio x is to x plus 1 is to x plus 2. If the least share was $120,000, we have to find the value of x. So let's write the ratio of the 3 men. So the expression for their ratio was given as x is to x plus 1 is to x plus 2. Now the next step, let's calculate the total ratio. So how do we calculate the total ratio? So the total ratio will be the sum of their individual ratios. So x plus 1 plus x plus 2. So let's simplify. X plus x plus x. We have 3x and then 1 plus 2. That is 3. So there is the expression for their total ratio. Now we know that their total ratio corresponds to the total amount shared. So we could see that the total amount shared among the 3 men was $480,000. That was the total amount shared. So this total amount must correspond to their total ratio. That is all about ratio. Total ratio goes with total quantity. So in this case, the total ratio must go with the total amount shared among the 3 men. So we can say that their total ratio corresponds to total amount. So what is the expression for their total ratio? That is 3x plus 3. And this must correspond to the total amount shared, which is $480,000. Now, among these 3 expressions for the ratio, what is the least ratio? What is the least ratio? Think about it. What is the least ratio among these 3 ratios? So the least ratio here is x. X is the least ratio. Why? Why is x the least ratio? So now let's assume that x is 1. So let's substitute 1 in place of x. So when you substitute 1 in place of x, we will have 1 here. We will have 2 here, because 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So we have the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 3. So clearly x is the least. Now, we also know that the least ratio must also correspond to the least quantity. In this case, the least ratio must correspond to the least amount of money received. But how do we write an expression to calculate the least amount? So to get the idea, let's look at this example. So assuming we have 3 men and then they are sharing, let's say 500 cedis in the ratio 2 is to 3 is to 5. What will be the least share? If I ask you to calculate the least share, what will you do? First of all, we have to calculate the total ratio. And then the total ratio here will be 2 plus 3 plus 5. That is the sum of their individual ratios, and that should give us 10. And how do we calculate the least ratio? Now we know that the total ratio, which is 10, must correspond to the total amount of money being shared, which is 500 cedis. So among these three ratios, what is the least ratio? The least ratio here is 2. So the least share will be the least ratio. So that is 2. If 10, the ratio 10 is giving us 500 cedis, then the ratio 2 must also give us a certain amount of money. So at this point, what do? We can apply proportion. So if less, more will divide. So we have the least share will be the least ratio divided by the total ratio times the total amount, which is 500. We are not interested in the answer, but we are interested in the steps that will guide us to get the value for the least share. And this expression should give us the least share. So back to this. How then do we get an expression for the least share? We want an expression for the least share. An expression for the least share. So from what we did, we know that the total ratio goes with the total amount, and we know the least ratio as x. So an expression for the least ratio or the least share will be the least ratio, which is x, divided by the total ratio. We had 3x plus 3 multiplied by the total amount. What is the total amount shared? Total amount here is $480,000. Can we simplify this? Yes. We are multiplying, so the numerator will multiply 480,000. So we have 480,000x divided by 3x plus 3. So this expression here will give us the value for, or this expression here will give us the least share. But in the question, we have the actual value for the least share. What was the least amount received? From the question, what was the least amount received? So we could see that the least share was $120,000. So if the least share was $120,000, so with this we can set up an equation. The expression for the least share must be equal to the least amount received. So this is the expression for the least share: 480,000x divided by 3x plus 3. And this expression here must give us the least share, which is $120,000. So at this point, we are solving for x. So how do we do that? So try solving for x. Try solving for x. So 120 can also be written as 120 on 1. So at this point, we can cross multiply. So 1 multiplying 480,000x. We have 480,000x. And then 3x plus 3 multiplying 120 thousand. So let's simplify. 480,000 x is equal to, so let's expand. 3x multiplying 120,000. 3x multiplying 120,000. So we have 360,000 x plus 3 multiplying 120,000. That is 360,000. So you can still group like terms. Let's group like terms. So we have 480,000 x minus 360,000 x. This must be equal to 360,000. And then 480,000 minus 360,000. We have 120,000 x. 120,000 x. And this must be equal to 360,000. We are looking for x. So we can divide both sides by 120,000. So here by 120,000, here by 120,000. So 120,000 will cancel out, leaving x is equal to, that is 3. X is equal to 3. So what is the right answer? From the alternatives, what is the right answer? The right answer is option B. This is a very nice question. This was a combination of algebra and ratio. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching.